Focus on practical goals. This training is not a feel-good training, okay? If you're looking to get pumped up, excited in broad, generalized ways, this is not the training for you. Instead, this training is all about practical results. This training is intended to help you become a more effective human being. We define effectiveness in a very limited way here. Again, this can be controversial because a lot of people would have very expansive and broad definitions of effectiveness that operate on different levels. There's nothing wrong with that, and in many cases, this is highly commendable. However, as far as this training is concerned, we're going to focus on practicalities. Are you still with me? Good. It's easy to confuse our ultimate goals with our practical goals. Our ultimate goals, of course, are specific big outcomes and objectives that we would like for ourselves. We would like to live a well-lived life. Let me put it this way. If you knew that you were going to be put in a box tomorrow, what kind of life would you have desired for yourself? In that instance, knowing that you're going to die, you are forced to look back at your life and judge what you have accomplished and be clear about what you wish you had accomplished. That's how we know what our ultimate goals are. There is also another set of goals. These are practical goals. Too many people confuse the two. This is a mistake that leads to confusion, wasted energy, and wasted focus. If you want to be more effective, and if you want to tap the power of motivation to push you to live a more effective and purposeful life, focus on the big things. Focus on the grand outcomes and objectives of your life. Practical goals involve putting food on the table, paying off debt, saving up enough money for your kids' college, taking care of insurance costs, so on and so forth. These are important goals, mind you, but in the big scheme of things, they're just steps that you take to go a certain direction. They are a means to an end, and the ends are worth the most. These are your ultimate outcomes and objectives. Don't confuse the two. Be clear about the big outcomes and objectives of your life. I have to confess I can't help you with this. Everybody's life outcomes and life objectives are different. Maybe your grand life objective is to become the largest landowner in your state or province. Another person might have the grand objective of simply seeing his or her grandchildren graduate from college. Another person's grand objectives have something to do with traveling to at least 100 different countries. Everybody's different. That's why I can't help you with this, but one thing is clear. You must have a crystal clear idea of the outcomes and objectives you want for your life. Nobody can do this for you. You have to decide. You have to put in the work to clarify these things. As you can tell, there is no right or wrong answer. Choose to be clear about your need for a process. Now that you have an end goal in mind, understand that this goal is not going to happen by magic. It's just not. Once you have a solid objective in mind, please remember that is point B. You are at point A. Your job is to figure out how to get from point A to point B. Now, this is not a simple matter of a few hops, skips, and jumps. This is a life's journey. This is a process that doesn't just involve going through time. It also involves a change in your mind and consciousness. You become a different person as you go through this process. It's the journey that changes you. Every single day, there will be practical goals popping up all over the place. These goals need to be achieved so you can continue your journey to your ultimate objectives and outcomes. I am, of course, talking about practical realities like keeping a roof over your head, making sure there's food on the table, and making sure that a lot of the everyday practical considerations of your life and your family are taken care of. All these require a process, and this process is your state of flow. Now, this is where a lot of people slip up. They think their process is them showing up to a job or doing whatever it takes to pay the rent. However, they're looking at it in the wrong way because if you look at your need for the process and you allow yourself to enter that state of flow, everything else becomes easier. Everything else falls into place. To a large extent, your state of flow should be your practical goal. You should think in terms of, how do I trigger this state of flow so I can blow through my to-do list and then some? How can I trigger this state of flow so I can think about the challenges that I'm facing and come up with better solutions? Believe it or not, achieving this state of flow and getting it to happen on command should be your daily goal. Recap: your state of flow. Here's a quick recap of what a state of flow is. It is a mental and emotional state where things become easy precisely because they're clear. It seems that whenever you make an action, it produces a result. When you look at what's going on around you and the task in front of you, you are able to connect the dots. None of them intimidate you. None of them have made you feel that it's not worth your time. None of them make you feel burdened and heavy. Instead, you can see how things connect and you're excited about it. Everything is clear, everything is predictable. You notice that when you take an action, it leads to something, and you can see the consequences of the decisions you make when you are in this state of mind. This enables you to become bold. You're no longer feeling like you're this piece of plastic floating out there in the middle of a tropical storm in the ocean of life, being pushed from one end of the ocean to the other end, with absolutely no control nor a sense of ownership about what's going on. This is the precise opposite. It's like you enter into a cube and everything is well-defined, predictable, quantifiable, despite the fact that everything is moving quickly. This gives you courage, boldness, and resolution. Everything just clicks, and everything just works. This is your state of flow. Now, please understand that states of flow vary from person to person. Other people can sustain it for a very long time until they totally obliterate their to-do list. Other people stay in it a fairly short period. That's perfectly okay. What's important is that you enter it, get things done, and eventually call it into being on command. If I haven't said it enough times, let me say it again. Achieving a state of flow should be your practical goal. This is the secret. This is what leads to not only knocking out other practical goals, but also leading you in a big way to your life's big objectives. The best part about your personal state of flow is that it helps you take care of the now. Believe it or not, the now is the foundation of the future. The future is not going to happen until you lift a finger to do things now. Your hopes, dreams, and wishes, they're just going to remain in your mind, free floating out there, nice and irrelevant, until you reduce them into reality based on the decisions you make in the here and now. Focusing on that state of flow enables you to do that.